All right. Yeah, we got another best of Jesse. I'm really enjoying these. He just makes me die. But yeah, Savage Moments Part 8. Let's go.
Tonight's going to be, I think, what's the word? What word am I thinking of?
Amazing.
Right? Amazing. Let's say hello to the two gentlemen that are joining us. Jake from Hugo and Jake. Welcome, sir.
Hi, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Jesse Lee Peterson. Hi, Jesse.
Thank you for having. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And hi to the other guys too.
Our pleasure.
For the other guys.
There.
I take it his thing's not working. I don't know why it keeps going quiet.
If we don't get men to return to their natural state of being, there is no turning around. The power, the love come through men, not through other people.
Like, what do you mean when you say the natural state of man? Because really, it sounds like words, but it really means nothing.
Well, what I mean about natural state of man is that there is a spiritual order. We are a spirit, and there is a spiritual order to life, and that order is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. And the men represent Christ on earth. He's our brother, and we represent God really on earth. The love of God come through us and is passed down to the women, who should be your wife, and to your children, and so on and so on. But in today's America, most men are beta males. They are women. They've been turned away from their fathers and turned toward the mothers. And so most men have the mindset of a woman and the emotions of a woman. So we need men to turn back to God, which will allow them to turn back to their natural state of being.
So I guess
Are you an atheist? Are you an atheist?
Oh yeah.
When you hear men and women saying that they are atheists or agnostics because their parents were failures, were losers.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, it's not me making it go quiet. It is the video literally going quiet.
You're not married though, right?
I'm not married, no.
Oh, okay. I guess I assumed you would be.
But when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself and me.
Well, that's fine.
Let me.
Are you an alpha or beta?
I think you'd think I was a beta, right?
You are beta, that's for sure.
Beta.
Yeah. Let me ask
I'm more like a Zeta then.
I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth.
I think I know now why it's going quiet, because he's put songs over it. Or they've put songs over it. And it's been copyrighted, so they've had to silence that bit. It's not me.
I just saw the gayest guy. He hangs around in Austin. He always wears a tree shirt. His favorite band is Roadside. He's out the Modern Cafe.
Like most of the time, people that are called SJWs are just people that give a shit about something. Like there's this sort of phenomenon, like if you give a shit about a thing, like and you're passionate about the thing, suddenly you're a social justice warrior. Like going out and voting for people, and like, you know, liking a movie that has black characters in it. like it's something as small. It's as small as, like, you know, being for.
No one has a problem with black characters in movies. Black actors have, like, do you know what I mean? Ruled for years. It's the making white characters black to appease a certain group of individuals, not necessarily black people, but a certain group of individuals.
Trans rights or being for gay marriage, like these are things that affect people, and like we need to extend rights to these people. I don't think caring about a thing makes you an SJW.
Jesse, would you agree with what Jake just said?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you said there's no such thing as police brutality. Does that mean you think that in no situation ever has a police officer used more force than was necessary?
When they're stopped by cops, common sense says follow the instruction of the officer. But instead, they start yelling and cursing at the officer, refusing to show their identity, their ID, and the cops don't know what's going to happen, so they have to protect themselves. And so the blacks have been set up to overreact with the cops, and when the cops do things to protect themselves, they cry police brutality. And here come the social justice warriors, those white people who are using blacks for their own personal gain, just as the blacks are using blacks. They come in and say, racism or brutality, come on, blacks, and vote for me. And the blacks follow right in line, just like the so-called Black Lives Matter people. We all know that the Black Lives Matter is an organization that was built by a bunch of black lesbians and black radical homosexuals and black wicked and white wicked social justice warriors. Black lives.
Can I point out something obvious too? What about Rodney King?
Rodney King brought that upon himself. He tried to get away in a car, putting other people at high speed. When they finally caught up with him, they tried to.
Who is it Eddie Griffin? Who has a joke about that, and he says, when I first heard about Rodney King, I was like, look at that, beating a black man just because he's black. And he's like, but then he's like, I found out he got $1 million for every hit he took, so he took $50 million off of that council or whatever. And Eddie Griffin's like, after that, I was riding past police, like, fuck the police. Come and beat my ass.
Him to stop, and put the handcuffs on. He refused to do that. It took several cops to stop that guy. He was on drugs, he was high, and he was strong in his being high. And so they had to use force in order to stop him. They had no other choice.
Okay, what about Eric Garner, who was put into a headlock and chokehold and then passed out and died?
Another fat black pig who refused to follow.
Okay, so he was fat, but he was a large guy.
Had Eric Gardner followed the instruction of the officer, he might be alive today unless he died a natural death because he was having some type of medical problem.
All right.
Why are you giving blacks a reason to be out of control? That's ridiculous. You're trying to use the blacks for your personal gain. No wonder you're atheist.
No.
You're trying to justify wrongdoing, and any person that's tried to justify wrongdoing, especially a male, is a beta male.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just seeing what you thought about that.
You sound like a woman.
I think opposite.
Let's go to hold on. Before this devolves into personal.
Let's see. Sounds like Jake.
Hold on. Let's see if we can't stick on one more topic because I want to make sure that I want to make sure we'll get there, Jesse. But before we do that, I want to make sure
we'll get there.
So about the wall, why do you like the wall?
Because I love my country, and I want to put my country first. When the illegal aliens come into our country, they first land in the black communities, and especially in Compton and South Central LA and other areas. And they're taking the jobs away from blacks. They are bringing in drug and crime. They hate the blacks, so they're fighting each other. They're overcrowding in the public schools. They're overcrowding in public hospitals, and the women who are citizens can't get in to have babies and whatever they do in there.
Sure.
Blacks are being hurt first and foremost by illegal aliens. Does that bother you?
So
Does that
No.
bother you that the blacks are being hurt first and foremost
it does not
by
bother
the
me.
illegal alien? You don't care about the blacks?
No.
Oh, you don't care about the blacks?
Nope.
I'm sorry?
No.
Then why are you asking me about Eric Gardner and all those people? You don't care anyway.
No.
Do you love the blacks?
No.
You don't love the blacks?
I love
So you don't love.
This mate, he's been proper done. Proper done. Because he's been trying to take Jesse to task. Now he's acting like it's just a big joke. But he's been the one saying, well, you think this, you think that. But now, because Jesse literally put him into a point where he was damned if he do and damned if he don't. Yeah, on one hand, you don't care about blacks. On the other, you don't want immigration because it's hurting blacks. Or as Jesse says, blats.
Black people? Do you love black people?
no.
That would explain why you don't care that they're being hurt first and foremost by the illegal aliens. You love the illegal aliens coming in?
Do you wait, do you love black people?
Do you love the illegal aliens coming in, Jake?
No. Wait,
Do-
do you
Jesse-
do you love
Yeah.
do you love black
Do you
people?
love black people?
I love all people, even my enemy. I love black
Okay.
people.
So,
Yes.
so you love
I
illegal
love
aliens.
white people. Yes. I love the illegal
Okay.
aliens, but I still don't want
All
them
right.
coming into my country illegally.
Yeah. So, I mean, like we don't people we love, we definitely don't want them around us. That's for sure.
Who do you love? You love nobody. You love no one. If you don't love all, Jay, you love no one.
Oh.
That's deep.
Oh, okay.
No.
Wait.
I
So
think-
that means
I didn't know
that
was
like
one or the other.
when you look at me, you love me. Like that's a little too like we just met.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah.
Well, love is not a feeling. Love is not an emotional
Oh.
thing. Love is just, love means not to hate you. When you don't have anger, you have love. And so I have nothing against you, and I have love for you. I wish you well. And I know that you can't comprehend that, but when you don't have hate, you have love. You can't help yourself. You're in a fallen state, and Satan is your daddy.
How do you define compassion?
When you don't hate, to discern,
When
when
you-
you understand that they know not what they do. And so you don't blame the person because you know that it's a spirit that made a home in them that causes them to do the things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. As you're doing now,
Okay.
Jay.
So do you disagree with my definition of
I'm
concern
glad you're
for the
not
suffering?
married, Jay.
Well, me too. That would make me a beta male. So,
Right.
do
It would be
you?
like, if you were married, Jay, it would be
Only-
like two lesbians.
Jesse,
So-
let me ask,
I'm so lost.
how does somebody get out of can you tell us how does somebody, like, if somebody's suffering from beta male syndrome, how do they get out of being a beta male?
Good question. If you hold anger against a father, your mother, or both, you go and forgive them because they let you down, but they couldn't help it. And in that very moment, when you forgive, then God will forgive you and bring you into the alpha state of mind, which is the mind of God.
So God is making me a beta male on purpose?
So you're not aware that you have anger, that you're an angry person?
No, I'm not a very angry person, though.
Are you aware that you're an angry person, that you have anger?
That I've ever experienced anger, or that I'm
Are you
angry in general
aware
all the time.
Are you aware that you
That-
have anger?
Yes, I am capable of being angry. Yeah.
I didn't ask you if you were capable of being angry. I asked you, are
Okay.
you aware that you have anger?
Yeah,
See how
I'm
see how the son of Satan
aware of
try to
it.
trick you.
Yeah, I'm
Amazing.
good. I just chill, and then I get to be
Get to be in a
amazing
beta
later on in
for
life.
a while.
Well, you chill and see how far that gets you, buddy.
Well, you just said, could we have a woman president?
We could, but we shouldn't.
Why shouldn't we?
Running this country is a very difficult task, and the woman is not created for that.
Okay, I close my question.
You disagree because you have the mindset, emotion of a woman. You think and act like a woman.
Do you think thinking like a woman is inherently bad?
For a man,
But wait, Jesse, couldn't theoretically, and follow me here now. Couldn't a homosexual couple, like two dads raising a child, wouldn't that create like a super alpha male?
The super male, the Ubermenschen.
super
But
beta males. But no, because if you have two men together, that's like two women being together because they have the mindset and emotion of a woman. They feel like women. That's why they're together. You wouldn't have two real men together as a man and a woman. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Well,
Well, thank you, Jesse. This was fun.
All right, thank you,
Hope to
buddy.
see you again soon.
And Jake and the other guy, Steve, it was good meeting you guys. I enjoyed talking to you,
Likewise,
Jake.
man. Likewise.
I hope
as well,
Jake
sir.
get over being a beta.
I'm just kind of curious. Does Jake sound more like a woman than I do? I'm just really
Yes.
got to have a self-conscious moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
Jake
sorry.
sounds like
Okay.
a woman
Okay.
more than you,
That's
but
good.
you didn't say a lot.
Yeah,
So I can sense beta in you, but you didn't say as much as Jake said. So he's total beta.
Yeah. I think what that boy, and this is what another thing men especially are shows him like him. I mean, I don't know him. I only know him over the course of that. But he was trying to be funny and trying to like mock when he was losing, basically. But people think that because they're not violent, it means they're not angry or have anger. Like a lot of men think, well, I don't go around fighting people, so therefore I'm a good person. Which, I mean, there is some truth to that, but also not. Because you could also just be a coward. And it's not the fact that you don't want to fight people, it's the fact that you're scared. And so then the anger that instead, the anger that you don't kind of, yeah, do you think, well, I'm not violent, so therefore I'm not angry, or I'm not violent. Like people say that I'm not violent, I'm like harmless, but then yeah, it's like, but you're not harmless. You're just scared to actually do something. And then that just makes you resentful and bitter, especially in men. And that's where you get your school shooters and your men that hate women and all the rest of it. Yeah. So people, yeah, do think, well, I'll tell you what, yeah, I'm watching Lost. I really recommend Lost. I never watched Lost because everyone kind of slags it off, but I actually think it's really good. And especially compared to the shit that you get now. It's actually a really good story in that. But in Lost, they show you where people think men should be weak and harmless, and then that means they're good. Lost shows you a great example of how dangerous a weak man is, and they show you it because it's the black matey that plays. I think he's Mercutio as well in Romeo and Juliet. I think that's him. but he's the one in the wheelchair in Oz. He's actually well good in everything he's in. Yeah. But yeah, in Lost, they kind of show you how he's like an artist and do you know what I mean? But his girlfriend or wife or whatever is basically the man in the relationship. She goes out, she works, but then it gets to the point where she's just like, I'm taking our boy and moving because she's getting a better job in Australia or something like that. And he just rolls over and just lets her take him, and it shows you that that's a weak. Yeah, he shows you him just being completely weak. But then his son goes missing, but he then goes on to get his son back. He then goes on to kill two women, and someone else as well. I think he kills in like cold-blooded murder, and that's what potential a weak man has, because they show you examples of strong men on the island that would never shoot a woman to achieve the goal, and then it shows you that he's a weak man and it's a weak act that he does to shoot at to get his son back, but his son ain't a weak man, a weak boy, and he's a strong-minded boy, and he basically disowns his dad for the actions that he did in order to get him back. So he lost everything in the end anyway. But I just remember, I'm still watching it, but I just thought that's such a great understanding of the psychology of a weak man. That weak men, like, no man is actually harmless. Weak men might be scared, but until they're put in a position, and then they don't know how to control that, and then they go over the top and do something like shoot up a school. Do you know what I mean? That's where men become these creepy guys that hate women. It's from that. I don't know how we got onto Lost from Jesse Lee Peterson, but yeah, I do recommend that. It's a great example of how dangerous a weak man actually is. But yeah, anyway, that's the reaction. Sweet.